Welcome to this Sunday school lesson for September 23rd, 2018. The title of this lesson is Man's First Home. Lesson text is Genesis chapter 2, 4 through 14. And I believe it's another one that suggests you read 18 through 24, verses 18 through 24. Recommended read is Isaiah 51, chapter 1 through 3, Ezekiel 28, chapter 11, verse 11 through 14. I usually use practical points near the end, but we'll talk about them right now. 1. God constantly reveals himself so that all may know him through his works. There is no void that God cannot fill and no barren place where God cannot bring life. God's Spirit gives us life and he gives that life its significance. God teaches us by example in his creation, even as he provides for man's needs. In a world filled with enticements and options, we honor God by choosing him daily. When we appreciate the beauty of the earth, we glorify God who created it. I'm going to start with chapter 2, Genesis chapter 2, and I'm going to start from verse 15 through 24. The Lord God placed the man in the Garden of Eden to tend and watch over it. But the Lord God warned him, "You may freely eat the fruit of every tree in the garden except the tree of knowledge of good and evil. If you eat its fruit, you are sure to die." Then the Lord said, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper who is just right for him." So the Lord God formed from the ground all the wild animals and the birds of the sky. He brought them to the man to see what he would call them, and the man chose a name for each one. Verse 20. He gave names to all the livestock, all the birds of the sky, and all the wild animals. But still there were no helper just right for him. So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. While the man slept, the Lord God took out one of the man's ribs and closed up the opening. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib, and he brought her to the man. "At last," the man exclaimed, "this one is born from my bone and flesh from my flesh. She will be called woman because she was taken from man." Verse 24. This explains why man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and the two are united into one. Commentary from verses 15 through 24. God gave Adam responsibility for the garden and told him not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Rather than physically preventing him from eating, God gave Adam a choice, thus the possibility of choosing wrongly. God still gives us choices, and we too often choose wrongly. These wrong choices may cause us pain, but they can help us learn and grow and make better choices in the future. Living with the consequences of our choices teaches us to think and choose more carefully. Why would God place a tree in the garden and then forbid Adam to eat from it? God wanted Adam to obey, but God gave Adam the freedom to choose. Without choice, Adam would have been like a prisoner, and his obedience would have been hollow. The two trees provide an exercise in choice, with rewards for choosing to obey and sad consequences for choosing to disobey. When you are faced with the choice, always choose to obey God. God's creative work was not complete until he made woman. He could not have made her from the dust of the ground as he made man. God chose, well, he could have made her from the dust of the ground like he did the man. God chose, however, to make her from man's flesh and bone. So, in doing so, he illustrated for us that in marriage, man and woman symbolically are united into one. This is a mystical union of the couple's hearts and lives. Throughout the Bible, God treats this special partnership seriously. If you are married or planning to be married, are you willing to keep the commitment that it takes the two of you one? The goal in marriage should be more than friendship. It should be oneness. God forms and equips men and women for various tasks, but all these tasks lead to the same goal: honoring God. Man gives life to woman, woman gives life to the world. Each role carries exclusive privileges. There is no room for thinking that one sex is superior to the other. God gave marriage as a gift to Adam and Eve. They were created perfect for each other. Marriage was not just for convenience, nor was it brought about by any culture. It was instituted by God, and He has three basic principles. One, the man leaves his parents and in a public act promises himself to his wife. Two, the man and woman are joined together by taking responsibility for each other's welfare and by loving the mate above all others. Three, the two are united into one in the intimacy and commitment of sexual union that is reserved for marriage. Strong marriages includes all three of these aspects. This is going to conclude the Sunday school lesson. If you have gotten anything from it, please support the video, give it a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe, and you have a good week.